Okay, so I need to tell you about the most embarrassing moment of my entire life. And trust me, even though this happened over a decade ago, I can still feel my face burning when I think about it. This is the story of how I accidentally told my boyfriend's parents that my mother does hand jobs for a living. Yes. Really. Let me take you back to 2013. I'm Brazilian, originally from Brazil, and at that point I'd been living in Ireland for about 2 years. My English was what I'd call functionally good. I could handle everyday conversations, order food, chat with coworkers, all that basic stuff. But my vocabulary? Limited. Very limited. And that limitation was about to become a massive problem. This particular Sunday was huge for me. It was the very first time I was meeting my then boyfriend's family. Not just a casual wave hello, I'm talking full Sunday lunch at his parents' house. Now, they'd said it was informal, nothing fancy, just come over and eat. But in my mind, this was everything. We'd only just started dating, maybe a few weeks in, and I was absolutely terrified of messing this up. I remember getting ready that morning, changing my outfit 3 times, rehearsing little phrases in my head. Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me. This food is delicious. I was going through every possible conversation topic, trying to prepare myself. You have to understand, I'd never personally experienced any prejudice in Ireland for being Brazilian, but I had friends who had. I'd heard stories. So I was hyper-aware that this lunch could potentially go very, very badly if they had any preconceived notions about Brazilian women. We arrived at this lovely house, and his family was genuinely warm and welcoming. His mom hugged me, his dad shook my hand with a big smile, his brother and sister were friendly. We all sat down around this big dining table, and the food started coming out. Traditional Irish Sunday roast, the whole spread. And honestly, it was going great. The interrogation started, but the friendly kind, you know? Where are you from in Brazil? How long have you been in Ireland? What brought you here? Do you have siblings? All totally normal, expected questions. I was answering everything fine, my English was holding up, and I started to actually relax. I remember thinking, okay, you're doing this. You're not embarrassing yourself. They seem to like you. Then someone, I think it was his dad, asked this perfectly innocent question, so, what does your mom do for a living? Now, in my head, I knew exactly what my mom does. She's an artisan. She makes beautiful handcrafted things, scrapbooking, painting, handmade cards, decorative items, all sorts of creative stuff. In Portuguese, when you want to casually explain what an artisan does, you often say they trabalham com as mãos, which directly translates to work with their hands. It's a totally normal, common phrase. The critical moment, my brain, in that split second, grabbed onto that Portuguese phrase and attempted a translation. And what came out of my mouth, in the most calm, casual tone imaginable, was, oh, she does hand jobs. The reaction was instantaneous. I'm talking 0.5 seconds. His father and brother absolutely erupted. Not a confused chuckle. Not a delayed wait, what, laugh. Immediate, uncontrollable, tears streaming down their faces laughter. His boyfriend was caught between laughing with them and trying desperately to keep a straight face. His mom and sister looked mortified but were clearly trying not to smile. Realization hitting, and right in that exact moment, as they started laughing, my brain finally caught up with my mouth. It was like everything clicked into horrible, crystal clear focus. Hand jobs. You just told these people you're meeting for the first time, these people whose son you're dating, that your mother gives hand jobs. For money. As a profession. I wanted to die. Actually die. Right there at that table. My face went from normal to approximately the temperature of the sun in about 2 seconds. My English, which had been doing so well, completely abandoned me. I couldn't form words. I couldn't think of how to fix this. I just sat there, frozen, burning with embarrassment while his dad and brother laughed so hard they could barely breathe. My boyfriend, bless him, tried to save me. He was still laughing, he couldn't help it, but he managed to choke out something like, "She means her mom is an artisan. She works with crafts, you know? Scrapbooking, painting, handmade things." And this is where I fell in love with his mom and sister forever. They immediately jumped in and shut the laughter down. Not in a mean way, but firmly. His mom said something like, "It's obvious what she meant, stop laughing." His sister added, "It's not funny, she's embarrassed, knock it off." They were protective of me, this girl they'd literally just met, and I appreciated that more than I can properly express even now. Lunch continued. Somehow, I barely remember eating anything else. I was still radiating embarrassment, probably glowing red, definitely not making eye contact with his dad or brother. But they moved on to other topics, and gradually, very gradually, I started to feel like maybe I could survive this. Maybe this wasn't going to be the thing that ended my relationship before it even really started. Now, here's where the story gets kind of beautiful. Fast forward to today, we've been married for 11 years. I've known his family for 12 years total. And I genuinely love them. They're wonderful people, and they welcomed me into their family completely. But yes, this story? It's become a Christmas tradition. Every single Christmas, without fail, at some point during the celebration, someone brings it up. Usually his brother. Sometimes his dad. Occasionally even his mom, with this mischievous little smile. "Remember that first Sunday lunch? When you told us about your mom's profession?" And everyone laughs, including me now. Looking back on it now, I can laugh. I can see the humor in the situation, the innocence of the mistake, how it was just a language barrier creating this ridiculous moment. But that first Sunday? Sitting at that table, watching his family try not to laugh at me? I was absolutely, 100% convinced I had just embarrassed myself beyond any possibility of recovery. I thought I'd ruined everything. There's one final detail I need to share. I have never told my mother this story. Not once. She absolutely adores my husband's family. Even though they don't speak the same language, her English is minimal, their Portuguese is non-existent, they've formed this beautiful bond. They communicate through gestures, smiles, Google Translate, and pure affection. And I know, deep in my soul, that if I ever told my mom this story, she would be absolutely mortified. She'd probably never want to video call them again. So this story lives on in a very specific circle: me, my husband, his family, the Christmas dinner table, and now all of you on Reddit. But not with my mom. That secret stays buried, at least for now. Maybe one day, many years from now, when we're all sitting around laughing about old times, I'll tell her. But not today. The moral of the story? Language barriers can create the most spectacularly embarrassing moments. But if you're lucky, and if the people around you have good hearts, those embarrassing moments can turn into cherished family memories. I'm just glad his family had a sense of humor about it.